is Daryl, and this is Programming in Any Language. Nested ifs are just one way of asking multiple questions in a program that needs to make decisions. Another technique is the if-else-if statement. C# and many other languages offer this type of statement to make this type of decision easier to write. Essentially, it goes like this. If this condition, do this. Else if this condition, do this. Else if this condition, do this. Else if this condition, do this. Else, do this. So it's basically an ongoing thing. This can be sort of endless. Let's take a look at a short one. We're looking at that flowchart with the nested if. And we're going to change this now to an if-else-if statement type thing. And it's a little similar to this type of thing, but I kind of want to show you what it might look like. So I'm going to copy this entire flowchart. I'll put this on page 2. I want to get that instruction set on top of here also. Bring that over here. Now the flowchart for the if-else statement is slightly different than this. So let's go ahead and kind of clean this thing up and kind of change it. It's not all that different though. We'll get our start up here and we'll get our little arrow going down here, and we'll apply this question again. Is it less than or equal to, greater than or equal to $40,000? And the initial answer is no, it's not. So we end up with this no loan for you, too little money. And so we go up here and apply it like this. But now instead of nesting, what we do is we'll do an else and an else if, and we'll say not on the job more than 2 years. If that's a no, then we end up with this statement: not on the job long enough. And of course we get an arrow again here that we apply and pop into this place right here. And we end up going down here, and yet great news, you get the loan. And that means the statement ends. And this almost looks a little cleaner than a nested if statement. It might be. Got a little bit of unbalance here, but not too badly. We'll kind of just move this a little bit. And the end result is, still need an arrow over here. I'm going to grab this guy and move him down, because we end up drawing this thing so that it looks somewhat like this. We can get rid of this entirely, and we can get rid of this one entirely. And we'll copy this and lay it in here. And we end up with an if-else-if statement, which basically starts down and says, is the greater than or equal to $40,000? Not, no, okay, too little, too money, you get out. And you can tell the exact reason right here. But if it is true, then you say, if again, if else. And this time, job, it's been on the job greater than or equal to 2 years? No. So you end up killing it right here. But however, if you do pass all these, you get a yes here and a yes here, then great news, you get the loan and you go on down. So it's a little bit different than what you're seeing in this particular flowchart. Not terribly different, but it is. In this case, we've got this nest happening, this if statement happening inside this one here. And you never get to this if this one fails. In this case, you're always going to, well, you're not always going to get to them. No, you're going to go to this thing, otherwise you're going to go down. If, else, if. It's somewhat like a nested if statement, but it's a little different. You're going to see it a lot different, I think, when you see it constructed in code. That's when it's going to look a lot different than what you might see. Maybe you'd find it a little bit easier to read, maybe not. It depends. And we'll add some compound issues to this thing later. Go ahead and look at code in this thing in a bit. So the flowcharting isn't all that different. In fact, you've written a nested if flowchart. You can usually use it to write your code using the if-else if. You don't have to make any changes at all. You only create flowcharts to make it easy on your own brain. Once you've got the logic figured out, we can code it. Here's the same program we used in the last video, but modified as an if-else if decision. Okay, you're looking at the same loan qualifier we saw in the last video. And this thing has the nested if statement, and we can look at the code very quickly. We're going to convert this thing to basically be an if-else if statement. That's fairly easy to do. Here's the nested if piece. We're going to change it a little bit. Okay, we've got our years in the job here. We've got our salary variable set up, and we're bringing in the parsing right here. So the decisions are being made down here. I'm going to change this slightly. I'm going to say if the salary is less than 40,000. We'll just make this a less than sign. Then what I want to do in here is I actually want to say the user does not qualify, and then say that. I'll simply send that decision out and grab this guy right down here. The salary's too low. This will be the label we're going to actually show. And then I'll end that brace, basically, by putting this in there. And then I'm going to say, else if. And we're going to set up a set of braces here. This time I'm going to ask it, actually we can actually leave them right alongside here. And I'm going to say, else if the years on the job, DBL years is less than 2. And if that's the case, not qualified, the year's too short. And then we'll put an else here. Else, brackets go in, and you qualify for the loan. And all this goes. This is an if-else if statement. If the salary is less than $40,000, we don't qualify, it's too short, and it gets out. Otherwise, it goes here to the else if statement and says, how about the year? Is the year less than 2? If it is, it doesn't qualify, you're too short. Else, if you pass both these conditions, then it does qualify for the loan and you go forward. So it's fairly straightforward to use. And you might want to use this instead of a nested if statement if the situation requires it. In the case of a couple of different, where you're asking a couple of different things in a row, it might make sense to do this. What's interesting though is it's gonna do this one first, and if for some reason it fails it, it's gonna go ahead and do this one. You got to make sure you're working with sequences here, and I might want to show that in another program where you're looking at ranges. Now remember, this short program is pretty simple, but when you start going down the path of deeper and deeper if-else if statements, you need to keep a certain order in your thoughts. The following is a program that gives discounts on their customers based on quantities of less than 10, less than 20, less than 50, and less than 100, and 100 or greater. For each range, the discount is different, but if you ask the question in the wrong order, you can get some pretty nasty results. This is a program that uses the if-else-if statement, and it's necessary to keep things in order, in a certain order, when you're actually doing this program. And I can show you the reasons for this by looking at the code. I'm not going to go into great detail on how I'm putting this program together, but I do want to show how it runs. So I'm going to run the calculation right now, and oops, we need to put something in here. So I'm going to put in 0 packages were bought, and we put a calculate, and we end up getting $0 and 0 total sales. Okay, that's normal. Now you can kind of understand that. We're not going to put in 4. And what it does, it calculates no discount, but it's going to charge the person $396. If we happen to put in 10, we suddenly get a discount of $198, and we're charging $792 for the packaging. We could clear that off and put in about 15, and we'll get a calculation here of $1188 with a discount of $297. Go out to maybe say 49 packages, and we'll calculate $1455 as a discount and $395.70 as the total sales in here. What's going on here with this thing is basically it's a program that's set up to give you a certain discount based on the number of packages you've sold, and that discount will increase the more packages you've actually sold. So it's required that you really ask the question in a logical order. Let's get the code up and I'll show you this. Here it is right down here. It's going to be this particular thing. We have a try here. We have if the number of packages less than 0. It calculates, it says nothing. You know, you're going to get nothing on here. However, else if it's less than 10. So we're looking at less than 10 here. Okay, discounts is 0, and we add the sales. Okay, if it's less than 20, we look at this here, and then we give them a discount of 20%, and we charge 80% for the retail price. If it's less than 50, we charge 30% as a discount and 70% as the charge. And if it's less than 99, we charge 40% discount and give them 60. Otherwise, if it goes beyond that, they get 50% discount off of everything that's sold above, 100 and above, basically on that. It's critical that it goes in this order, 0, 20, 50, 99. If you happen to ask the question, if the package is less than 20 first, if it's less than 10, it'll be true. And you certainly want to look, you're looking at a range, you're looking at not less than 20, you're actually looking at 11 through 20 here. And you're looking at 21 through 50, or you're looking at 20 through 50, or 20 through 49 right here. And here you're looking at 50 through 99, or right here, or 98 right here, when you start looking at this particular thing. So the sequencing is important, and that's where you can get tricked up in the else-if statement. So you need to think your logic out and look at this in order of how you're actually doing it. So I'm looking first, I'm saying, if it's less than 0, we're going to do something. If it's less than 10, I'm doing this. If it's less than 20, not really asking if it's less than 20, I'm asking if it's less than 20 and also greater than 10. Less than 50, not really asking less than 50, less than 50, but also greater than 20. Looking at that range in between there. So that needs to be put in place. So that's where the if-else-if can kind of trip you up. And I wanted to show you this example just so you didn't get messed up when you start using an if-else-if in your programs. Okay, great. And we're not done. In the next video, we'll take a look at compound statements. They can be fantastic and they can be trouble. What in programming isn't? What you need to take out of this video is the if-else-if is a replacement for some nested statements. If-else-if structure needs to be concerned about order. See you next time, and thanks for watching. If you get a chance, please subscribe. We'll see you in the next video. Take care.